When I picked up the phone to ask my son about the wedding date, my daughter-in-law looked me right in the eye and said with a chilling smile, "Oh, we already got married yesterday. We only invited special people. Special people!" That phrase destroyed 3 years of my life in 1 second. Stay until the end, because what I did after that changed everything. And tell me, have you ever felt used by those who should love you? I, Renata, 71 years old, who for 3 years had paid their monthly rent of $2,500. I wasn't a special person. I bought every piece of furniture in their house. I filled their refrigerator when they had nothing to eat. I was the only family Max had after his father's death, and yet I wasn't invited to the most important day of my only son's life. Standing there in the living room, I held the phone as if it weighed 1,000 pounds. In my closet, hanging for weeks, was the pale pink dress I bought for $1,000, thinking about how beautiful I would look in Max's wedding photos in which I would never appear. You know what I had done? I had saved $5,000 to give as a gift. I called my sister Diana in another city. I cleaned my house from top to bottom. I planned a celebration to welcome them. Everything. Everything thrown away with 4 poisoned words. Only special people. My son finally lifted his gaze and said in that rehearsed voice, "Mom." It was intimate, very small, just the 2 of us and the witnesses. But I knew it was a lie. I went on social media, and there was everything. Lena's parents posing proudly next to the bride and groom, her siblings toasting with champagne, Lena's white dress, which I helped pay for with $4,000. I saw everything I wasn't supposed to see. It wasn't an intimate wedding. It was a wedding without me. For 7 days I couldn't sleep properly, couldn't eat. I kept staring at that pink dress in the closet. I started to remember. When did my son stop seeing me as Mom and start seeing me as a bank? And then I started calculating, not out of pettiness, but because I needed to understand the extent of my own blindness. Between rent, food, gifts, emergencies, more than $166,000 in 3 years. Exactly 1 week after that humiliation, my phone rang. It was Lena. "Renata, the rent is overdue. The landlord is going to evict us." "You forgot to make the transfer." Forgot? I was silent. I remembered all the times I ran to the bank to make transfers. Cancelled my plans for theirs. Ate rice and beans to give them money for wants, not needs. And then, for the first time in my life, I said no. "Lena," I said with a calmness that surprised me, "didn't I warn you that I only help special people?" The silence on the other end was so deep I could hear my own heart beating. "Renata, I don't understand. We've always been special to you. You're like a second mom to me." Lies, all lies. The same sweet voice she used when she needed money for the wedding dress, for the honeymoon, for the rings that I helped pay for. Without knowing, I would never see the ceremony. That night, I hung up the phone and sat on my bed. And I cried, but they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of rage, of accumulated frustration, of years of silent humiliation. I cried for all the times they made me feel that my love was a burden, my presence a hindrance, my money the only thing I had to offer. I cried for the foolish mother I had been. When I woke up the next morning, something inside me had changed. It wasn't just the pain of betrayal. It was something deeper, colder. An iron determination. I looked in the mirror. The same tired eyes as always. The same wrinkles that told stories of years of giving love without receiving it back. But there was something new in my gaze. Hardness. A strength that had been buried under years of submission. I went to the kitchen, made coffee, and for the first time in years, I didn't call Max to ask how he had slept. For the first time, I was my own priority. I sat at the table where I had so often planned surprises for them, counted bills, cried silently. I took out my checkbook, bank statements, and started adding up. Monthly rent, $2,500 times 36 months equals $90,000. Food and supplies, $1,000 per month equals $36,000. Birthday gifts, Christmas, anniversary, $15,000. Lena's medical emergencies, $4,000. The car loan they never paid back, $12,500. Air conditioner repair, $3,000. Living room furniture, $6,000. Total, $166,500, $166,500. From the money my late husband Roberto left so I could live in peace in my final years. I threw it all out the window to keep two adults comfortable who couldn't even pretend to respect me. My phone rang. Max's name on the screen. Normally my heart would race and I'd run to answer. This time, I let it ring once, twice, 3 times, until it went to voicemail. 10 minutes later, it rang again. Lena. I let it ring too. Text from Max. Mum, please answer. We need to talk. I deleted it without responding. At 2 p.m, I decided to do something I hadn't done in months. Go for a walk. Without a specific purpose. Without going to the bank to make transfers. Without going to the supermarket to buy things for them. I went for a walk because I wanted to. What a revolutionary concept. I stopped in front of the bank where I had made hundreds of transfers. The manager, Mr. Klein, saw me through the glass and waved. I went straight to his office. Mr. Klein, I need to cancel all the automatic transfers I have programmed. He looked at me surprised. For 3 years these transfers had been as regular as the sunrise. Are you sure, Mrs. Richter? Did something happen? What happened is that I finally opened my eyes. I want to cancel everything. And I also want information on how to protect my accounts. I don't want anyone else to have access to my money. While Mr. Klein processed the cancellations, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Max, Lena, Max again. It was as if they had developed a radar to detect when their source of income was in danger. I turned the phone off completely. When I got home, I saw 3 cars parked in front. My heart froze, Max, Lena, and one I didn't recognize. I could see movement inside my house through the windows. They had keys. I gave them the keys because I trusted. Because I thought one day they would take care of me like I took care of them. I opened the door and saw a scene I will never forget. Max was sitting on my sofa with his head in his hands. Lena was pacing back and forth like a caged animal, and an older man I didn't know was going through my papers, my personal documents. On my dining table? What is happening here? I asked in a voice that came out louder than I expected. Lena was first. Renata, thank God. We need to talk. This is Dr. Fisher. From the law firm we consulted about your situation. My situation? What situation? I'm perfectly fine. Max finally lifted his head. Mum, we went to the bank and they said you cancelled all the transfers. Blocked our access to your accounts. We don't understand why you did that. Dr. Fisher, a man in his 50s, grey suit, smile that didn't inspire confidence, approached with an outstretched hand. Mrs. Richter, your children are concerned about your mental well-being. Mental. That word echoed in my head like an alarm. I didn't shake his hand. I went directly to my dining table and collected all my documents he was reviewing without my permission. These are my private papers. You have no right to look at them without my consent. Max intervened with that condescending voice. Mum, we're worried. Your behaviour has been very strange lately. First, you cut us off financially without explanation. Then you don't answer our calls. We think you need professional help. Lena approached, trying to take my hand with that fake tenderness. Renata, honey, we know you're under a lot of stress. Maybe loneliness is affecting you more than you think. At your age, episodes of confusion are normal. Confusion. Now I understood. They wanted to declare me mentally incompetent to take control of my finances. I am not confused, I said with a firmness that silenced everyone. I'm clearer than I've been in years, and you're going to leave my house now. Dr. Fisher intervened. Mrs. Richter, your children have the right to intervene if they believe your ability to make financial decisions is impaired. Concerning behaviours? I gave a hoarse laugh, almost cruel. Like what? Deciding that my money belongs to me? Lena jumped up as if I had slapped her. We never treated you badly. You're part of our family. Everything you have will belong to us one day anyway. We're just accelerating the process. There it was. The naked truth. To them I was already dead. They were just collecting their inheritance early. The next day, at 6 a.m, I was already dressed. First stop, Attorney Webber's office, specialist in elderly rights. Mrs. Richter, what your children tried to do yesterday is more common than you think. It's called elder financial abuse. It's a federal crime. We spent 3 hours reviewing my financial records. Mr. Weber whistled when he saw the total. $166,500. With this money you could have lived comfortably, travelled, enjoyed your retirement. I left there with a complete plan. Change all the locks on the house, install security system with cameras, open new account at a different bank, start living the life I postponed for years. I went to the hardware store. The owner, Mr. Summer, had known me for years. I always bought things to fix Max and Lena's apartment. This time it's for my house, Mr. Summer. I need to change all the locks, and I want the best quality ones. His son, Ethan, installed security systems. Divine Providence. Ethan, I need to install surveillance cameras. Complete system. Price is not an issue. While I was choosing the locks, I received a call from an unknown number. Lena, calling from someone else's phone. Renata, please don't hang up. We need to talk like civilized adults. Listen, I understand you're upset about the wedding. It was a mistake. Max and I talked, and we want to make it up to you. How about a special dinner to celebrate our wedding with you? Lena, how much rent do you owe exactly? Silence, I hit a nerve. Well, it's 2 months. $5,000 total. But I'm not calling just for that, Renata. We miss you. Do you miss me or my money? Both, she replied with surprising honesty. Renata, I won't lie. Yes, we need financial help, but we also love you. If I'm so important, why wasn't I important enough to be at your wedding? Why am I not important enough to get a call that doesn't ask for money? When was the last time you called me just to ask how I was doing? Another silence. We both knew the answer. Never weeks later, the court day arrived. Lena cried. Max lied. Their lawyer tried to paint me as senile, but I had a flawless psychiatric evaluation. Documentation of all the abuse. Witnesses from neighbours and friends. Proof of financial manipulation. The judge was crystal clear. Mrs. Richter is in full possession of her mental faculties. Request for guardianship completely denied. 3 months later, I sold my house. I moved to a beautiful apartment downtown. I donated half the money to organisations that protect the elderly. I travelled through Europe. I took painting classes. I started to live. Max and Lena, they had to move to a smaller apartment. Lena got a job for the first time. Maybe they'll learn what my generosity never taught. Independence. Today, I'm 72 years old. Some nights, I look at the stars from my balcony and think about the woman I was a year ago. Afraid, manipulated, thinking I had to buy love. That woman died. And in her place was born someone who understood a fundamental truth. True love never has a price. And freedom is never too expensive. Tell me in the comments, what would you do in this situation? Have you been through something similar? Do you know someone who needs to hear this story? If this story touched you, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel because there are many other real stories waiting for you. Share with those who need to hear this. Sometimes someone else's story is the push someone needs to change their own life. Remember, you're never too old to start over. And the most important person you need to protect is yourself. A hug from the heart. Until the next video.